Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilly Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused. You know the drill. Please read the article. Share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1 when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got your young children present, please use your headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised. And new one, just for you, YouTube. Trigger warning 3. If you are in any way a supporter or an advocate for ABA therapy, you are more than likely not going to like the things that are being discussed on this channel. Okay? We're not on your side. All right? Please go somewhere else. We're tired. We're tired of telling you how ABA impacts us, and you just keep yelling with your fingers in your ears. You just don't know what's good for you. All right? Okay, good. Because I'm tired. YouTube, I'm tired. Response from last comment, folks, where we left off last time. These comments are consistent with the FDA's finding that the state of the art for the treatment of SIB or AB relies on multi-element positive methods, especially under the PBS umbrella. I'm inserting umbrella so that you can continue to understand what this is. Positive behavioral supports is not synonymous with positive behavioral reinforcement. It's an umbrella term, so I'm just going to keep calling it that. Otherwise, I'm going to get annoyed on every single video. Sometimes in conjunction with pharmacological treatments. You see, because that's how it is dealt with in the real world everywhere else but at the JRC. For those issues that cannot be addressed through treatment programs alone, proper medication is often supplemented. You can't make a kid take pills for a week and expect that it's going to turn your kid magically neurotypical. There is no magic pill, okay? What those pills do help you do, not immediately, but down the line, is help in those areas where just a treatment program alone is not going to be able to take care of a certain area of the treatment program, okay? Particularly when you are dealing with autistics who have comorbid diagnoses, such as moi, okay? Let's continue. Positive can apply to many different treatment modalities, but it does not include aversive interventions such as contingent skin shock. Thank you. This is plain in the black and white, folks. You cannot tell me the stick and carrot routine is any form of positive behavioral reinforcement, because it isn't. We don't allow people to treat their dogs like this, but we're okay if it happens to human beings as long as they're disabled and you think they're weird. Maybe you should see a doctor if that's what you believe. Just saying. You may need that shrink more than I do, with that's saying something. State-of-the-art multi-element positive interventions, such as those underneath the positive behavioral supports umbrella, rely on the functional behavioral assessments to design a treatment plan for individual patients. We've gone over this numerous times on my channel. I've explained exactly what the steps are, how they work, and how they interact with each other. This brings me back to my last point in the other video. The steps are the steps, and they are designed the way that they are for a reason. It's so that you're not heading into this blind. It's not throw your kid into a program and say a Hail Mary and hope for the best. It is a way to go through the steps so that you can make an educated decision on what's going to specifically address your kid's issues. Because, contrary to popular belief, we are not two-dimensional cartoon characters who are all alike. Just said. Usually I would stop here, but I don't want to make that short of a video, so we're going to go into the next paragraph a little bit here. Clinicians ordinarily try multiple positive treatment interventions if the initial treatment is not successful. True. For example, positive behavioral reinforcement by itself did nothing for me. At that point, I was already in early adulthood. The time period where positive behavioral reinforcement is really pushed was much younger than my 18 years. However, person-centered planning didn't quite address everything either. So what we did was exactly what they're talking about here. It was a marriage of person-centered planning and creating that circle of support and working within the treatment program, and to deal with the issues that came either directly from being autistic in a world not built for me, yay, anxiety disorder, or whether it's the PTSD that has followed me since my teenage years. Those medications were introduced, and what they did for me was it helped to address the issues, the anxiety in particular, that would psychologically paralyze me, so that I would have the presence of mind to be able to cooperate with the treatment program. We tried it by itself. Didn't work. Because then the comorbid diagnoses that I had were not being addressed. Because they were not being addressed, it became a stumbling block to be able to successfully navigate my then current treatment program. Those pills brought me to a base level so that I would be able to think clearly. Okay? That's not always due to comorbid, but a lot of times it is. Some of those medications assist for those of us whose rage is just completely beyond the point. Like, you can't get someone to be able to work and have a rational conversation with you when they're blowing a gasket. There's no rational conversations you can have with me when I'm in the middle of a meltdown. It's should go without saying, right? Yeah, let's continue. Indeed, if a given intervention does not reduce or eliminate unwanted behavior, a clinician would adjust the treatment on an empirical basis. A lot of times, particularly as we're hitting those transition ages that go from high school into secondary education or directly into the workforce, this usually involves a reassessment, almost redoing of you will, of the full functional behavioral assessment, so that we can then take a look at the areas that I no longer need help in, those areas I'm still weak in, and those areas that I'm remarkably strong in, so that we can continue to build off of it, right? This is how normal people do medicine. I know. This is how the rest of the world does medicine. Let's make it a little bit more accurate there. As one expert in positive behavioral reinforcement explained under the PBS umbrella, the assessment of behaviors and design of the interventions is an iterative process, and a continual adjustment of positive interventions will serve the patient better than substituting elements with the use of ESDs. Believes that these parents describe in their comments mirrors of the state-of-the-art treatment for SIB or AB. In other words, when you do shit right and you adjust as you reassess and reassess as you go throughout your life and you make those changes, they tend to be successful. They also tend to be more successful than the punishment model, which gives you no coping skills of any shape or form. It doesn't give you any other way to be able to communicate what's actually bothering you. So it can be dealt with instead of forcing you past the boiling point and straight in the meltdown. Does none of these things. It stops the behavior in that split second, and that's all it does. So what good is that in the long run? You know? Let's continue. The FDA believes that what these parents describe in their comments mirror the state-of-the-art treatment of SIB or AB. Multi-element positive interventions are designed to support the individual by teaching skills and replacement behaviors, and such interventions can achieve durable success in community and home settings. Yes, this is true, but here's where I'm going to attack. ABA does this thing with completely harmless behaviors, such as stimming, for example. Or the most recent example that really caused me to go off in regards to child play, where if they're not playing normally and they're just lining their toys, disrupt them and force them into imaginative play. Karen, that's how you end up with your head to a wall. Okay? There are certain things that ABA forces. Forced eye contact. Forced, you must play normally, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. You are supposed to, according to who? According to who? It's those behaviors that you all seem to attack more than the not so fun ones. The question is, why do they do this when those behaviors are harming no one? Because it makes them uncomfortable. It's weird. So is your celebrity worship and stalking, Karen, but you don't see me complaining now, do you? People need to start taking a look in the mirror these days a little bit more before they go spouting off about things they don't understand. Okay? Although I fully back positive interventions that are designed based off of the results of a full functional behavioral assessment, and I do believe 100%, particularly for transition age kids out of high school, that teaching life skills in that moment is absolutely fundamental. I don't believe that we should be trying to condition something as self-soothing as stimming out of me because you find it weird. It helps me regulate my life, myself, my emotions, Karen, particularly when I'm in a situation where I can't leave a room and my sensory issues have gone to fuck all level. Right? Sorry, I just had to get my bit out because that annoys the ever living hell out of me. We can talk about the positive side of things, but I want to draw your attention to the things that they really try to do inside the medical model. That again, the JRC is an extreme version, a look into the window of the past, if you will. But ABA hasn't actually come all that far from it. They're trying to condition our autistic behaviors out of us, and almost like a modern form of brainwashing, force us to be what? Neurotypical light? That never won me any friends. What won me friends is when I threw off the mask, started hanging out with my own people. Okay? We're going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. You know the drill, folks. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see y'all here in a little bit. Bye-bye.